Michelle, otherwise known as Drum. I'm a running coach with Team Drum Coaching, and this is the Team Drum Show! Today's question, have you ever lost your mojo? I have. I've lost my mojo big time this year. It's been crazy. Starting in about April, my mojo has been on and off until I finally hit mojo rock bottom at the end of July, and I've worked really hard to crawl my way out of it, and I thought I'd share it with you guys today and next week. So today we're going to talk about what I think got me into that position in the first place, and then next week I'm going to tell you about how I managed to crawl my way out of it, and I am definitely over the hump and feeling awesome about everything right now. Okay, a few reasons why I think my mojo left. Number 1, long-term goal finally accomplished. Number 2, overtraining, under-resting. Number 3, life stress. Number 4, athletic unbalance. And number 5, the weather. Oh my gosh. The weather. Texas, second hottest summer on record ever. And let me tell you, we felt it. We got it. Enough already with the weather. Yeah. Okay, let's dig into these things a little bit deeper. Hi, Lola. Okay, number 1, long-term goal finally accomplished. So when I hit my marathon PR in February, it was such a dream time for me. It was one that I knew had been in me for years, but I had never proven it on race day. So I had run all those paces so many times, so many workouts, and those always feel great, but until you actually do it on race day, that's all it is. Just a random Tuesday with some kudos from Strava. And that's awesome. If we didn't love training, there's no way we would stick around. But I just knew it was in me, and I just kept waiting for it to show up on race day. I crossed that finish line just feeling so happy and so content and so at peace with myself. I know it's ridiculous, but I really did. And I still feel that way. I don't have any of those, like most races, where you're like, I should have done this, or I could have pushed harder here, or if only I'd been 19 seconds faster so I could have gone, underneath some arbitrary number. That's ridiculous. I totally don't feel that way for this race. I typically do, but for this one I don't. And so I just really can understand why, because I feel so content about it, I've just been kind of like la with my running since then. All right, number 2, overtraining, under resting. So when I was training for that race in February, I was running 7 days a week, and I just got into that habit and that routine. And so did my dog. And Lola was with me for almost all those runs, unless it was a speed workout. So after the marathon, she really didn't need to recover at all, but I did. But I just kept running her every day. The next thing I knew, 50 days in a row. I'm not a streaker. What are you doing? Take a day off. Next thing I knew, 25 days in a row. And I just kept having that pattern, and I found it really hard to break. And I know that seems really silly, but I feel like a lot of you are type A like me out there, and that once you get into that habit and that routine, and it's just what you do every day, I found it really hard to break it. All right, number 3, life stress. I kind of had some weird things going on this summer that caused a little bit more stress for me than normal, and it definitely manifested itself into my body and showed itself up in my running. One of the biggest things that you guys might be able to relate to also is the traveling during the summer. I was in a ton of different time zones, a ton of different elevations, different climates, different beds, different pillows. Everything was different. And I just never ever could get that routine going where it felt normal. The biggest issue was time zones and getting acclimated to different places, mostly the weather. I would be acclimated, then I would get unacclimated, and it was like whether it was the altitude or the weather, and it was just this constant craziness. Also, I quit one job so I could focus more on my stuff that I'm doing, like coaching, and that also caused a little bit of stress. Even though it was good stress, it was just change. And any change, of course, brings a little bit of stress with it. Number 4, athletic unbalance. When I really sat down and I thought about it and I wrote everything out, I realized for the past decade, I've been super good about cross training. I have a triathlete background, mountain biking is in my past also and future. It's my second favorite thing to running, and I was always doing Ironmans or mountain bike races, all this stuff in between all the road running. A lot of trail running and then a little bit of road running. And when I really sat down, I realized that these last 3 years have all been totally run focused. In 2 of the years, my big focus was a 100-mile trail run. But still, in Texas, the majority of the training for that is on the road. So I've pretty much had 3 years straight of a lot of pounding and very little cross training. And that is so unusual for me, and it absolutely took a toll, not only physically, but mentally as well. Okay, and then the big one, weather. Just like I was talking about earlier, oh my gosh, you'd get acclimated and it'd be the middle of June and you're like, yes, I'm acclimated, I kind of feel okay, and then you'd go out of town and you'd lose it, and then you'd come back and you'd be like, oh, I gotta start all over, and it was just this totally like always starting over, getting acclimated, starting over. The other thing is I feel like in the winter or when it's not so hot, which is really just like 3 months for us here, every 2 weeks or so, you'll have a workout where you'll be like, yes, that felt awesome. I feel great about it. I can totally see that all this hard work is paying off. I am fit. I am getting fitter. I am stronger than I was 2 weeks ago. In the summer, when every single run is 80 degrees and with a dew point of 74, you don't ever have those runs. And week after week just compiles on top of each other, and then it's been 3 months and you have not had a workout where you felt awesome, and it's a struggle. Me, my girlfriends, the clients that I coach, we have all admitted to sitting in our car after a run just sobbing because, oh my gosh, the summer is never ending. I think that was a really, really big factor, and that's why at the end of July, everything kind of blew up in my face, and I was over it. And there you have it. That was rock bottom. Rock bottom for me was not wanting to run. Rock bottom for me was running and having every step hurt. I was not injured. I had no injuries, but because of all that overtraining, I just hurt. Rock bottom for me was not being able to do intervals that I could do just a few months earlier. I was not even close, not even in the ballpark. Rock bottom for me was not wanting to hurt, was not wanting to push. That's so crazy. I definitely had lost all my motivation. I was determined to figure out why this was going on. I love running. It brings so much joy to my every single day that this was so unusual and I didn't like it and I was gonna get to the bottom of it. So that's what I've done. I hope that me kind of talking about this today has made you think a little bit about what maybe has let you lose your mojo, either right now, at the end of the summer, or in the past. And tune in next week when I tell you about what I've done to crawl my way out of it. I feel so much better now. Things are so much happier, and I'm definitely back to loving the sport of running. That's it for this week. Can't wait to see you next week. Please, in the comments, let me know. Have you lost your mojo? What did you do to crawl your way back out? I'd love to talk about it with you next week. As always, you can find me on teamdrumcoaching.com, and I'm on Instagram at ultradrum. That's it for this week. See you next Friday for another episode of The Team Drum Show!